Hey, before we start with part 3, how about a trivia question for the hardcore Avatar fans? And here we go. In the Avatar universe, who's the greatest wisecracker? Is it Sokka, Toph, Bolin, or Korra? And the answer is... Why are you racist? There are no crackers in Avatar. Why is this show so bad? And I don't want to hear any of that shit about, no man, the ending was horrible, but, you know, the rest of the series was great. No! It was not! Although I grant you that ending was horrible. Also horrible. I even gave this show a second chance, okay? I gave it a second, honest, attentive, non-biased viewing just because I needed to be proven wrong. I needed to be proven wrong so I could see that this was the wonderful piece of art that everyone thought it was. But you know what happened? Not only did the ending still suck, but I actually realized that the rest of the series wasn't even that good to begin with. I mean, god damn, that ending was just the icing on the cake. Don't get me wrong, there were brilliant moments here and there throughout, but everything else was just... In fact, if someone were to examine this show by characters, themes, and technicalities, then all its strengths, and especially its weaknesses, will become all too apparent. So that's what I'm gonna do now, starting with characters. So I'm gonna examine the characters based on the following categories. Characters I hated, characters I was indifferent towards, characters I liked and or saw potential in, and characters I just flat out loved. So, without further ado, characters I hated. This guy. This f***ing guy. This... He started out okay. I mean, he seemed like a stoic and careful guy, if a little boring. I mean, he had a tragic past with his parents getting killed by firebenders and all, and that never got built on. He seemed to care a lot about his little brother, and then he didn't. He even seemed willing to admit he was wrong at times, and then he didn't. And probably most importantly, he didn't reciprocate Korra's feelings. I mean, he respected her, eventually, but he didn't like her. And then he did. It's a little sad to say this, but Mako didn't leave any impression on me until episode 5. And it wasn't a good one. He just seemed like an asshole. The show makes it seem like he dated Asami instead of Korra, only because Asami provided better benefits. It's like his thought process over all of this was, girl who can balance the world, or girl who can balance my checkbook. Personally, I thought it was better that he just didn't have any feelings for Korra at all, at least beyond platonic, and I thought that's what the point of episode 9 would be, that Korra would learn that she can't always get what she wants, so she could leave Mako alone so he could fully commit himself to Asami. That seemed like a good message, but... Then comes episode 10, where not only does Mako realize that he loves Korra, for some reason, but he's also willing to hurt people just to find out where she is.
I'll ask you one more time, where is she?
Not to get too off topic here, but this emotionally compromised motherfucker's gonna be a cop in book 2? Poor Republic City. Then there's this scene.
How did you get away? Give her some space.
Where do I even begin? This scene is just such a mockery of human compassion and romance that I can't even find the right words for it. I feel like Shakespeare is rolling in his grave laughing. First of all, isn't he still with Asami at this point? This is not acceptable relationship behavior. Secondly, why is he the one carrying her? Shouldn't it have been Tenzin, the father figure? Thirdly, this line.
Give her some space.
Give her some space? Give her some space? Give her some space? You are carrying her against her will, watching her as she sleeps, and confessing your love to her at the worst possible time, and you're telling everyone else to give her some You know what? Fine. I don't care. I don't care at all. You two deserve each other. You're both horrible. Well, that's it for the characters I hate. Now let's move on to the characters I don't give a shit about. What am I supposed to say about these two? That they're cute? That they owe their entire existence to merchandising? Okay, that's probably not true. But I can say this, with certainty. There's only one reason these two exist in this show. And that's because Appa and Momo existed in the last show. Except, unlike Appa or Momo, neither of these two new animals has anything resembling an actual personality. Now Momo, he had personality. Even Appa had personality, albeit a dull one. Without that soul factor, Naga and Pabu just function in this world as plot devices. That's it. I will admit this though. The polar bear dog is one of the few hybrid animals I actually like. Moving right along. I'm putting Pima and the kids into one slot because, frankly, I feel the same way about all of them. I really loved them in the beginning, but whoo, did they wear out their welcome. So let's start with Pima. She's Tenzin's wife, pregnant with their 4th child. And I'm just gonna assume this is the 4th child, and that they just happened to luck out the first 3 times with healthy airbending children. So, you know, we can suppress any speculations that there were any accidents along the way involving non-airbending childbirths. Anyway, Pima's alright at first. She and Tenzin seem to have a pretty loving relationship. Their little interactions with each other just say so much about their relationship. It especially comes through in this moment.
Airbenders never turn away a hungry guest, am I right?
I suppose.
The problem with Pima starts, where else? In episode 5. She pretty much tells Korra, hey, it's alright to take another girl's man, as long as it's true love. Because, hey, it worked for her. She took Tenzin for Lin, why shouldn't it work for Korra? Except in Pima's case, it was a lot more complicated than that. A lot more complicated. Tenzin needed a woman who would, open the door and let him in. If you know what I mean. Okay, I can't really find a delicate way to put this, so here we go. Tenzin needed a woman he could inside of her so she could have his babies. I'm sorry, is that too real for you? Because it's the fucking truth! Now this little complication does get implied in the series, but it doesn't really make Pima all that sympathetic. I mean, that's not to say it vilifies her so much as it makes me ambivalent towards her because I don't entirely know her motivation. I mean, she does seem happy with Tenzin and the kids, and I just don't know. This is a bit of a tricky area, so I'll just say what I think. I think Pima really does love Tenzin. She didn't just settle for the guy like that Blue Valentine. And because of that, she was willing to put up with the responsibility of breeding the next generation of airbenders. So this is a rare case where everything just happens to work out in everyone's favor. Good. Now let's look at the kids who, frankly, I never want to see them again in my life. They were cute at first, no doubt, but cuteness only gets you so far. It's not like I was expecting any character development from these kids, but a little restraint would have been nice. Especially when it came to this little potato head.
You're pretty. Can I have some of your hair?
And if the kids' tendency to be annoying wasn't bad enough, the show forces them to be heroic when they save Lin from the Equalist.
Stay away from my dad's ex-girlfriend.
It's supposed to be a triumphant scene, but really it just comes across as pandering. Am I really supposed to believe that these kids could take out all these Equalists so easily? Shit, if they gotten caught, they would have had their bending taken away. Are those kids even aware of the danger they were putting themselves into? I mean, there was never a scene where Tenzin or Pima explained the Equalist movement or debending to them. You know, there was never a scene like the one in The Incredibles where the mom actually explains the life-threatening implications of their situation to the kids.
Remember the bad guys on those shows you used to watch on Saturday mornings? Well, these guys are not like those guys. They won't exercise restraint because you're children. They will kill you if they get the chance. Do not give them that chance.
There's no scene like that in Korra, and if they really wanted this moment to work, there probably should have been. And in the end, they're just cute. And since that's their only apparent function in the show, I can't really fault them for that, now can I? Tano started off as one of those characters you just love to hate. He was like an understated version of that villain from Warriors of Virtue. From tossing around some weird sexual innuendos to cheating at pro bending, this guy was just tailor-made to be despised. And then...
Wait, please don't do this. I'll give you the championship pot. I'll give you everything. Just please don't take my bending.
I don't know about anyone else, but I actually felt sorry for him. The next time we see Tano is in the next episode, but he's no longer the cocky womanizer we once knew. He's just a pathetic, self-loathing shell of that man. No bending, no self-esteem, no fangirls. Just lonely and miserable. My only problem with this is I'm not entirely sure what exactly I'm supposed to get out of Tano's story arc. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy for losing his bending, but I don't know why I'm really supposed to care. I mean, is losing your bending really the worst thing in the world? Even worse than death? I don't know, that's another topic for another time. But hey, at least it was fun to watch. He had the best character animation in the show. If I don't know how to feel about Tano, then I especially don't know how to feel about Hiroshi Sato. And this is yet another character in a long line of characters that's lost a loved one to a firebender in this show. Why is it always firebenders who kill people in this universe? Anyway, Hiroshi's story should have been easy to sympathize with, you know? I mean, the guy somehow made a name for himself in an environment hostile to non-benders, and yet he still loses a loved one to firebenders. I honestly can't blame this guy for joining the equalist movement, even if his own daughter rejects him for it. This dynamic between Hiroshi, his daughter, and the equalist movement should have been one of the main focuses of the show. Hiroshi clearly loves his daughter, but he also wants to avenge his wife. So when his daughter opposes him, it should have filled him with turmoil and inner struggle. You honestly expect me to believe that Hiroshi would attempt to murder his own daughter?
Frank, this whole thing started because you lost somebody you love. Don't expect me to believe you let it end the same way. I'll tell you how this is gonna end!
Apparently! So much for black and gray morality. All that said, I kinda love the fact that he sponsored the Fire Ferrix and let Mako date his daughter just so he could continue to cover up that he was an equalist supporter. His demise may have been stupid, but his beginnings were clever.
Sponsoring our team, supporting the Avatar, it was all just a big cover.
Pretty smart, huh?